I'm a second generation Italian American. I was born in Mount Vernon, New York in the 50s to Anthony and Agnes Seglio. When I came home from the hospital, I was welcomed into a large Italian American family and an even larger Italian American community. I was overloved, I was overfed, and my two older brothers made sure I grew up as a tough kid. After that, it was 12 years in parochial schools with the nuns and priests and brothers and all that strict obedience. And then in the radical and turbulent early 70s, I moved into New York City where I went to college. After I graduated film school, I was hired by the New York Football Giants as the first in-house film guy. I spent 30 years with the franchise, and I left in 2003 as their executive producer and director of broadcasting. But it was a good 30 years. I walked away with 3 Super Bowl rings and a bunch of Emmys. After I left the Giants, it was 2004, and I was trying to figure out what do I do with the rest of my career. And I was channel surfing and didn't see any television programming or network about Italians and Italian Americans. There was a lot of other ethnic programming. There was Hispanic and Black programming, and I said, why not? Let me take a shot. So whoever I spoke to, they said, hey, what a great idea. I'm surprised no one's done it before. So I launched the Italian American Television Network, which was basically about food, travel, art, history, culture, and we were poised to launch in 2008 until the world economy collapsed and the $80 million we secured went away. Stuff happens. 8 years of working on the Italian American network compelled me to look into my own bloodline and my own ancestry. Now, I always knew my mom came over from Sicily when she was an infant, but my father's past, it was cloudy. I didn't have a lot of information. I knew he used to say, oh, we're from Foggia, but I really had limited information. When this show offered me an opportunity to trace my ancestry, I was really thrilled. Even though I didn't have a lot of information, what I had I sent to an Italian company called Agrifrutti, who's doing all the research, but to keep me in the dark. They're not telling me what they found or what's going on. All I do know is that we're flying into southern Puglia, and then we're going to travel north by van to somewhere near Foggia, and to the actual birthplace of my grandfather. I also know that when we get to Italy, we're going to be joining a group of other people who are on a similar journey to mine. I'm going to bring along a friend who speaks perfect Italian, and that's Lana. She's going to accompany me as my translator, because when I speak Italian, Italians tell me, no, please, speak English.
Italy, as we all know, is shaped like a boot. Its southeasternmost area forms the heel of the boot, and it's where the region of Puglia is located. Straight from the airport, Tony and Lana and their traveling companions are anxious to begin their journey. The first stop is the historical city of Lecce, known as the Florence of the South. From here, they'll continue on to the Foggia region, where Tony's family is believed to be from. From the warmth of its golden brown night light to the buildings constructed with pietra lucchese, the yellow sandstone the region is known for, Italians respect and revere their heritage and work hard not to destroy but to preserve it. This recently uncovered Roman amphitheater was built 2,000 years ago and seated 25,000 spectators.
Have any of your nephews or nieces ever traveled to Italy and searched for their roots? Because you've had extraordinary opportunity to have people that can help you. Not everybody knows how to do that. So has anybody else ever tried to look for family?
I think on a kind of internet, let me see what I can find level.
Right.
Nobody has taken the in-depth genealogical steps that Agrifrutti
Right.
has taken for me.
Well, they have
which I'm
great resources.
I'm amazed that they, with the information, the limited information that I was able to give them, could track down my blood.
The next stop on the way to Foggia is the town of Cutifiano, where Tony and the group visit a 400-year-old subterranean olive oil factory. For centuries, Italians used the oil produced here to light and heat their homes. Donkeys were used to turn the mill and crush the olives into a paste to release the valuable oil. After many decades, the donkeys wore the stone away with their hooves. Today, those old donkey tracks are preserved under the green glass. Olives would be harvested in the fall and dumped through street-level hatches into these storage rooms for later processing. Each storage room held over 1,700 pounds, only enough to produce about 40 gallons of oil. The last step of the process is pressing the crushed olive mash. This was painstakingly accomplished by hand at each of these 8 pressing stations. Once fully processed, these vessels held the finished olive oil. Decades of oil storage has given the limestone a smooth marble-like surface. Today, state-of-the-art machinery processes the olives, which are rarely touched by human hands. From the sorting to the washing and the processing, each step is now fully automated. Puglia supplies around 40% of the olive oil production in Italy, and that accounts for around 12% of olive oil produced worldwide. A DOP Puglia certification guarantees that the olives and the oil were produced entirely in Puglia. There is no mistaking when something is the best in the world, and strict Italian law ensures its continuation for many centuries to come. This young Pugliese singer exudes the passion that's been ingrained in the Pugliese people for centuries. Tony and the group meet up with Chef Gianna Greco, who runs the Cooking Experience School. She explains how to select the best ingredients and why it's so important to Pugliese cooking. Tonight, Tony and the group will be taking her class and cooking their own dinner. The group will learn how to hand-make orecchiette, or little ears, the quintessential dish of Puglia.
Schiaccio un pochino, il palmo della mano non deve premere forte, piano, ok? Deve scivolare.
So you're gonna put
Come
the...
una carezza a una bella donna, deve scivolare così. La verità.
No, è vero.
È vero.
You have to put gentle pressure on it, like you, the way you,
Per piacere.
the way you touch a woman, gently.
Guardate.
Tria I cicciari, or pasta with chickpeas, is made with pasta ribbons fried crispy in extra virgin olive oil and fresh chickpeas. Giovanna's family recipe for this delicacy dates back over 800 years.
You're gonna do that just until the pasta gets hard, and it's not long. It's actually very quick. It's about 30 seconds.
Sono stata brava, Saviana. La zuppa di ceci per la signora celiaca.
Gianna has operated her school since 2008 and is not only a wonderful cook, but she's also an accomplished sommelier. She loves what she does, and it shows in her passion and enthusiasm. She makes cooking fun.
Di che sei contento di vederci così. Quello sta sudando. Tu. Vai. Con questo.
The Italian purple carrot is believed to be a symbol of fertility and to bring good luck when consumed. Tony and Giovanna share a flirtatious laugh over this superstition.
Che fa bene all'anima. Tony.
She lives with
Tony.
Good for your soul.
phallic symbols.
Oh, per piacere. Tony.
Poi mi porta fortuna. This is my good luck bite
Tu
now.
poi sei già passato dalla pietra. Tu sei già andato sotto la pietra.
Here's the thing that's a little disturbing. When someone says to you who knows Italy, you know, where you from? When you tell them, the response is usually, oh, what a beautiful place. There's such a... When you say Foggia, people go, it's like my family's from the ghetto.
Oh no.
But, you know, I found out that the people are like the strong people. They're the working people. They're like the Volk, you know? So I'm happy that, at first I was upset that I'm like, oh man, you know, I didn't want my family to come from the slums of Italy. But as it turns out, it's mostly farmland. So they were hardworking people. They certainly were not aristocrats. And I trying to wrap my hands around who and what they are, and I can't. Once I get there, I'm hoping that I can feel the land, feel my blood in with whoever it is that they found.
Italians have always revered the sacred, and they built ornate churches and cathedrals at the center of every city and small town. Many contain the most spectacular art ever created. Tony and the group are about to visit the scariest cathedral in the world. When you enter the Cathedral of Otranto, erected in 1608, you're drawn up to the magnificent gilded wooden mosaic ceiling. Below that, the astonishingly detailed Tree of Life mosaic floor is so bizarre, Dan Brown included it in the Da Vinci Code. It depicts Adam and Eve's fall from the Garden of Eden. The mosaic leads to the ominous Chapel of the Martyrs, so named because in 1480, Turkish invaders beheaded over 800 parishioners, sparing only those who renounced Catholicism and converted to Islam. The skulls of the beheaded martyrs are enshrined behind the altar and were canonized by Pope Francis in May of 2013, making them freshly sainted. The stone of martyrdom upon which the Christians are believed to have been beheaded lies on display just behind the altar.
Through the centuries, customs become rituals, and rituals can become a cult-like experience. I got to see one in Calamari, which is not to be confused with Calamare, which is a whole different thing, but in this chapel of St. Vitus, there's a ritual that they perform for sterile women, for fertility, and for people who need rebirth. It involves squeezing through a hole in a rock while the rest of the community is singing and chanting for you.
Inside the Chapel of St. Vitus, the patron saint of actors, comedians, and dancers, a statue of the saint stands watch as an ancient tradition for fertility and rebirth is brought back to life through dance. The chanting and rhythmic clapping of the villagers date back centuries and are the roots of classic Pugliese music. By Lana squeezing through the rock, it's believed that she is transformed and has been reborn with new vitality.
I still do.
The struggle to pass through is an essential part of the ritual and is a metaphor for both birth and renewal.
Music is a very important aspect of Italian rituals. The Taranta, or Dance of the Spider, is an ancient healing ritual of women who were either bitten by a spider or they believed to be possessed. This haunting, pounding music was used to drive out the venom or drive out the evil spirit in the woman. We're verging on the profane now.
Tony and Lana witness firsthand the ritual of the Taranta. The Taranta dates back centuries and is a major deviation from church doctrine. According to tradition, demons or spider venom, which had taken possession of a woman, could be exorcised with powerful rhythmic music. Throughout the ritual, St. Paul is invoked, as he was the protector and savior of those so afflicted. Dizzying sounds of drums and tambourines would send the victim into a trance, in which dance was believed to drive the evil forces out. If the ritual in her home was unsuccessful, the woman would be brought to the chapel of St. Paul, where she would plead with the saint for his mercy. Here the girl's mother is calmer now, because she believes that her daughter has been cured by this ritual. A drink of water from the blessed well of St. Paul would be given to ensure the healing was complete. Lana joins the locals dancing to the rhythmic tambourines of a band of performers in coastal Tricasse. Puglia contains over 500 miles of pristine oceanfront, so no matter where you are in Puglia, you're never far from the sea. This beautiful coastline is not only a summer paradise, it has also sustained Puglia with its rich ocean bounty for millennia.
I'd like to introduce Mr. Rocco. He's the owner of this restaurant. Cognome? Signor
Cazzato con due Z.
Rocco Cazzato.
Con i miei figli da 6 generazioni pescatori.
And his family, he is the sixth generation of fishermen.
Yes. Allora vogliamo incominciare da tutti questi piatti che vedete qua sono fatti con tutte cose locali pescate da noi.
All these plates now have been prepared.
Verdure compreso.
With okay, so all these plates here were made from fish that he's fished himself, and all the vegetables they've also grown. Così lei ce l'ha.
Sì. E qualsiasi cosa che peschiamo la trasformiamo, la cuciniamo.
So any type of fish that the large array of species of fish, they're able to cook.
In Tricasse, ocean to table is immediate.
The Pugliese artists who are practicing centuries-old arts and crafts are really struggling now to keep the young people interested in their artistry. It would be a crime to let these traditions of world-class artisans die. But you never know. Maybe the next Fellini will be a Pugliese kid shooting on an iPhone.
E mettendolo al centro di questo disco si fa.
Italian potters have been plying their hands to the potter's wheel since the Renaissance. Today, much of the craft is practiced as it has been for centuries, except now the clay is fired in electric kilns, where hundreds of years ago it would be baked in wood-fueled fires in the seaside grottos and caves the region is known for. Puglia's young artisans grapple with being modern-day millennials who are carrying on their ancestors' art forms. The items these women are making will be sold primarily to tourists.
Now it's full.
This master potter is demonstrating his recreation of a traditional ceramic watering can.
So they walk around. Diamo l'applauso per favore. Oltre a loro c'è no, mia moglie. Un applauso.
Puglia is well known for its Baroque style of papier-mâché, which dates back to the Renaissance, a time when local craftsmen did not have access to precious materials and were forced to make use of common items such as paper, rags, and plaster. They personified their religious devotion, and to this day their work can be found on display in many churches of the region. The Pugliese initiative for repurposing ancient structures is referred to as Smart Old, which preserves the beautiful artistry and history of ancient structures. Here, these old subterranean grain storage tunnels are being transformed into a modern-day health spa. Incorporating hand-carved artisan sculptures is smart old indeed.
Alchemy is the medieval forerunner of chemistry and medicine. Alchemists thought they could turn one type of matter into another type of matter. And it's been practiced in secrecy and shrouded in mystery ever since they started. Frankly, alchemists are out there and very close to the edge.
Let's say I'm very close to nature and very close to mankind. I love life. I love human beings. I love children. I love what God gave us. Okay, and I transform yourself into love.
Alchemy was the ancient forerunner to natural science and chemistry. Today, it's called spagyrics and centers on the development of herbal remedies.
I'm this way because I like comparing to others, okay? Because when I do something, I do it with passion, a lot of passion. This is cannella, cinnamon. Look what color is the cinnamon. And smell it also.
That is cinnamon. Wow.
This is cinnamon, let's say artificial cinnamon. This is natural cinnamon.
This is almost...
Yes, it's like an acid. Great. So that's why our tinctures, they tinge our souls. The spagyric product tinge our souls. Imagine that it tinges. Look at this. It tinges. Okay, we get nature and we put inside the bottle and we help everybody. This is a real made in Italy, and I'm proud of it also. Here in Italy, we eat too much in Italy. We're exaggerated. We love food here, and they make real good food. So we feel very, very full, cramps, stomach aches. You take this here, 2 tablets, 3 tablets, it's gone, vanished. No more stomach aches, you don't feel full anymore, the bloating is gone. It works. There you have it also.
I think the nervousness is there's always fear of the unknown.
Of course, of course.
And my distorted mind, I guess I must have dreamt this, that they go knock on the door, they open the door, the guy sees me and he slams the door closed. I mean, you always want to think you come from nice stock. What if this guy's a criminal?
No.
What if this woman's a lunatic?
No.
It's possible. It's possible.
Anything's possibile.
Natura and Benessere and its brand Naturalis are owned by native Pugliese Domenico Scodari. He produces sustainable organic skin products using natural ingredients, many of which he grows himself. One of the main ingredients is aloe, which Domenico treats like his babies and tends to almost completely by hand. Another important ingredient is olive oil, and being in Puglia, he has access to the best in the world.
You told me that. I was thinking that. No. I don't know. Okay.
Domenico speaks of passion. For Italians in general, Southern Italians in particular, and Pugliese specifically, nothing is accomplished without passion. We shine our shoes with passion.
Study, study, study. With no passion, you will never get anything. So sometimes passion, I think, and I think I can tell you that this is my experience, is better than anything else. Of course, you need to be informed about everything, but the most important ingredient which will make it exploding an idea is the passion.
Near his factory, Domenico has a resort he calls Naturalis Bio Resort. He hosted a dinner for us in his private dining room, and the theme was farm to table.
The former 18th century farming estate has been transformed into a charming contemporary resort with a working farm. Domenico is a firm believer in merging the old peasant traditions of his ancestors with the highest levels of hospitality.
So it's a mix of products you find when you go around here. Okay, so it's organic, made with the same products which are farmed in the place where we are. So the name of this is timballo di melanzana. So vegetable, okay, for vegetarian people. Then we turn to something. Enjoy. Buon appetito.
Using bread to get the last drop of sauce is known in Italian as scarpetta, meaning to make a little shoe out of the bread.
I've done this my whole life with gravies and sauces. Why else would we have crusty bread at every meal? But leave it to the Italians to have a word for this. Scarpetta.
Everything on the table is exquisite, yet unpretentious. Domenico explains grano arso, or burnt wheat. This pasta dish was created by peasants who foraged for wheat in burnt fields centuries ago. Today, it is a delicacy.
There is an important story. The name of this is macaroni con al grano arso. Okay, burnt wheat, which tastes is great. Now it's a very precious, okay, dish, but in former time was something very, let's say, very hard, very poor. Right? So enjoy this, and it's made with cheese. Che formaggio è questo? Cacio ricotta. Okay, so it's very simple but very tasteful. So we have here rabbit, sauces, coniglio, salsiccia, mushrooms, alright? Cardi selvatici. Cardi selvatici, no, anyway, and something like that. So.
It didn't take long before Domenico and I bonded in a very strong and unmistakable way. I felt it when I told him that I could feel his passion and love for life, which is a feeling I share. And I know he felt it too.
My real target every time is to create special emotion. Only then I feel very happy. So I cannot tell you how I really felt when you told something so deep to me. So thank you so much for let me really for touching me in a so deep way. It's not so easy sometimes to know each other since let's say a couple of hours, you know. And sometimes a good friend of you sometimes is not able to tell you something so straight and so so deep. So grazie amico. Grazie. Thank you. So the bill finally. Something extra. But emotions is what I really felt, and I hope you felt the same, enjoying this great menu which Roberto prepared tonight for us. Roberto, you really. You are a master, Roberto. You are a master. So no bill for tonight, unfortunately, but it's okay. So this is the. Grazie davvero, Roberto. Grazie. Thank you.
We are experiencing the highest level of world class. So thank you.
You touch my heart. Thank you.
They changed the name at Ellis Island. My name
So
ends in an O.
So how did you find that out? I
found it out.
told you that much.
They found it out as they were doing the research, and they said they must have changed the last letter when he immigrated, and that was very common in Ellis Island. I'm amazed that they, with the information, the limited information that I was able to give them, could track down my blood.
It's raining when Tony arrives in Cerignola for the culmination of his search for his relatives and true ancestry. He begins in the Cerignola Hall of Records, with no idea whether he'll find what he's looking for, or if this will be a disappointing dead end.
Caracciolo Teresa.
That's her name.
Who?
Teresa Caracciolo.
Who is that?
E chi è questa?
La moglie di Antonio, il Trisavolo.
Okay, so this is the wife.
That's my great-grandfather? My
Bis.
grandfather's father?
Bisnonno.
Bisnonno.
Trisavolo o
Bisnonno.
Bisnonno, yes,
Bisnonno.
great-grandfather. Great-grandfather's wife.
Questo
Nicola.
figlio.
So Nicola, this is his.
This is Antonio's son.
Esatto.
So
Correct.
Niccolo named his first son, my father, after his...
Grandfather. Exactly. Foglio di famiglia.
Angelo, fratello e sorella di Nicola.
Era l'unico fratello.
Erano tre figli.
Oh, there were three
figli.
children.
Angelo e Nicola.
So you have Nicola, Angelo,
E Angela.
e Angela.
2 maschi e una femmina.
So 2 boys and a girl.
Did they all go to the United States?
Sono trasferiti tutti e tre negli Stati Uniti.
Uno sì, Nicola.
One, yes,
Nicola
Nicola.
e ora appunto in America.
And he went to, there it is, it says it right there. Nicola in America,
In America.
stamped.
The most significant to me was seeing the name Antonio Cellier as my great-grandfather, because that's my name and my father's name. And what's dawning on me is that they've had this Antonio Nicole, Anthony Nick, going down these generations, and now it's going to stop with me.
Antonio, vieni qua. Siedi qua.
Dr. Antonio Giannatempo, the mayor of Cerignola, welcomes Tony as an American in search of his heritage. The mayor already knows Tony has found his true roots here in Cerignola.
Dalla città, credo, dove è nato tuo padre, no?
He's giving
Cerignola.
you the
Ok.
official greeting from the city where your father was born. Your
Quindi
grandfather was
ti
born.
porto il saluto, ti abbiamo fatto questi documenti così li puoi portare con te.
They
Una
brought
bella
you these
città.
documents so that you could take them with you. Li puoi portare con
Dove-
lui?
Sì, sì, dove c'è la storia della tua famiglia.
That's your family history.
Allora, Celli Antonio, la notazione, ha contratto matrimonio con Caracciolo Teresa
This is the marriage certificate with Teresa.
il 6 settembre del 1877.
So this is 1800?
1877.
So 1877 is their marriage certificate.
E quindi oggi diamo questo certificato che è ufficiale.
So they're
He's certified.
giving you the certified document.
Eppure il certificato della moglie Caracciolo Teresa, dove dice la stessa cosa, che ha contratto matrimonio con Celli Antonio.
So now this is the same thing, except for now it's
My
spelled.
grandfather.
L'ho saputo all'ultimo
We had
minuto.
this done at the
Il simbolo di Cerignola,
and this is the symbol of Cerignola.
In honor of this happy occasion, the mayor bestows upon Tony a replica of the official symbol of the city.
La cicogna che mangia il male, il serpente che rappresenta la
So
cattiveria.
it's eating the evil represented by the snake. And
Perché
it's
questa è
eating
una
it, so it's
città di
overcoming
pace,
it.
negli intenti, ma nei fatti non è così.
That's wonderful.
Va bene?
So these are gifts he gave to you.
Beh, ci fate una bella foto per andare. Allora, aprite la porta. Ecco i suoi parenti.
These are your relatives. So your grandfather and his father
Prego, ciao.
were cousins.
Ciao. Ecco, è lui, è lui. Ciao.
Buongiorno.
And this is the sister.
Sister, Giovanni.
And this is a niece.
This is your grandfather. This is your great grandfather. This is the father of your great grandfather.
Great great grandfather.
Great great.
Scusate, ma chi lo invita a mangiare oggi?
Tutti al solito posto.
Poi vengo io a trovarti, eh?
Vieni, venite,
Ciao, ciao, arrivederci a tutti.
Riporta un po' Marco.
Signora,
Moglie di Giovanni. Me la ricordo. Look at this beautiful family. Quanto siete belli. They say that you look exactly like him.
Che somiglia a lui, eh?
Tony shares a photo of his first cousins from the United States, who the family feels is a ringer for a member of their immediate family in Italy.
Vieni qua, no? Non credevo che finirono.
Adesso dice.
Questo è l'anello del campionato del
The family patriarch, Giovanni, reacts to seeing his last name on Tony's Super Bowl ring. Remarkably, even his Italian family are American football fans.
Ehi, genio! Genio! Oh,
And we'll arrange sometime.
The goodbyes are especially poignant and emotional for Giovanni when he recognizes that Tony looks very much like his recently deceased brother. The end is near, and the emotions overflow with love and affection for the blood relative who came from the United States to Cerignola to meet them.
Sono commossa.
She's very moved.
My heart as well.
Assai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao, Tony.
Okay.
Did you expect to see that many people come out to see
No,
you?
frankly, my expectations were that there would be a handful of people, and I thought I was going to go to their house. So this was just absolutely intense, mind-boggling, a little overwhelming. To be able to look into their eyes and see my father, my mother, well, not so much, but my father, my brothers, and first cousins' features on these people who I've never met and who, it's what she calls roots. It's my roots. My only problem, if you will, was that whenever you had walked away and I wanted to talk to them, because they don't speak English, most of them. The younger ones did, but the older ones didn't speak too much English. And I wanted to say something, I couldn't really communicate.
Well, you know why
to
that
them.
was? I'll tell you why that was. I tried to stay close so I could help you out. People were trying so hard to get close to you. They were just so happy to see you and wanted to be near you. And I think you could go without words for that. That's the other thing. Everybody was, come to our house for lunch, come to our house for lunch. I mean it from my heart. It would make us so happy if you would join us for lunch. And I know you were, you know.
I said, I'm not in control of this. I didn't know what to do. But how Italian is that?
Exactly.
Come to my house for lunch from my heart.
That's right.
Oh
Let's
my
break
God.
bread together the way families do.
That's deep. That's deep. It's not like, hey, come on over for a sandwich. It's like, no, this is a passion. This is my blood.
And then you have your other cousin that asked you to come watch the Super Bowl at his pizza place.
Oh, I didn't realize he did that.
Yes, he did. He said they're going to be watching the Super Bowl and that he owns the pizza place, that he would love for you to go there to watch the Super Bowl.
At midnight?
That's when the Super Bowl is here in Italy.
Have him bring some pizzas to our hotel.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think we should invite him. I will get you segli Ceglie, because the O got changed at Ellis Island, the E to an O. So these are all Ceglies. Ceglie pizza. And the guy, I think, knew. When I told him, I said, my father owned a pizzeria. One of the first jobs he had, I shouldn't say a job, one of the first businesses he owned was a pizzeria in Mount Vernon, New York. And this guy comes, and as soon as I shook his hands, if you shake hands with a pizza maker, it's like shaking hands with a rock almost, because they work the dough.
They're so muscular.
And they're doing this all the time, and their hands are in the oven. They're dealing with hot stuff. You can't burn their fingers. They have no feel. I mean, his hand was like, oh man. The only, in retrospect, the only thing that I would do if this was repeated on my mother's side is I would like to have my brother with me, or my daughters, or some, besides just me. I would have been strong to have a first cousin.
To share all this
some
with.
other, absolutely.
Sure.
Not that I didn't feel comfortable, or that friends like you weren't a source of strength. I just think for the family, it would have meant a lot to have, maybe 3 or 4 people. The other thing that I definitely felt was that I was a celebrity here, not because of anything that I've done, anything that I've accomplished. I was the celeb because of the blood.
That's right.
It didn't matter who, I shouldn't say who, it didn't matter what I did or who, I could be unemployed like I am. I mean, anything outside of the fact that I was a blood relative coming from the United States who they never met, everything else was insignificant.
That's right.
That's refreshing. That is so intense that they didn't care.
The true meaning of family.
It was.
You're one of us.
Look at that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Intense.
Excellent.